Today our topic is, what is the meaning of life? Different philosophical perspectives. When we think about life, one of the biggest questions we ask is, what is the meaning of life? This question has puzzled humans for thousands of years, and different philosophers have tried to answer it in their own ways. Some say life has no meaning, and we create our own. Others believe life has a purpose given by something greater, like God or the universe. Let's explore some of these ideas to understand what life might mean. First, let's talk about existentialism. This is a philosophy that says life has no inherent meaning. It's like a blank piece of paper. We are born, and then it's up to us to decide what to write on that paper. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus believe that life is what we make of it. Sartre said, existence precedes essence, which means we exist first, and then we create our own purpose through our choices and actions. This can feel scary because it means we are responsible for our own lives. But it's also empowering because it means we are free to choose our own path. If life feels meaningless, it's not because life has no meaning, it's because we haven't given it meaning yet. So, according to existentialism, the meaning of life is whatever you decide it to be. You can choose to live for love, for creativity, for helping others, or for something else entirely. The choice is yours. Next, let's look at Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca believe that the meaning of life is not about chasing pleasure or avoiding pain. Instead, it's about living in harmony with nature and accepting whatever happens with calmness and strength. Stoics believe that we can't control external events, but we can control how we react to them. For example, if something bad happens, like losing a job or a loved one, a Stoic would say, I can't change this, but I can choose how I respond. The meaning of life, according to Stoicism, is to live with virtue, which means being wise, courageous, just, and disciplined. By focusing on these qualities, we can find peace and fulfillment, no matter what happens in the outside world. Now, let's consider the perspective of religion. Many religions believe that life has a purpose given by a higher power. For example, in Christianity, the meaning of life is often seen as loving God and following His commandments. Life is a journey to prepare for eternal life with God. In Islam, the purpose of life is to worship Allah and live according to His will. In Hinduism, life is seen as part of a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and the goal is to achieve liberation from this cycle through good deeds and spiritual growth. Buddhism teaches that the meaning of life is to overcome suffering and achieve enlightenment by following the Eightfold Path. These religious perspectives give people a sense of direction and comfort, knowing that their lives are part of a larger plan. Another interesting perspective is Utilitarianism. This is a philosophy that says the meaning of life is to create the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people. Utilitarians like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill believe that our actions should be guided by what brings the most good to the most people. For example, if you have the choice to help one person or 10 people, utilitarianism would say you should help the 10 because it creates more happiness. According to this view, the meaning of life is to contribute to the well-being of others and make the world a better place. This can be a motivating idea because it gives us a clear goal, to do good for others. On the other hand, some philosophers believe that life has no meaning at all. This is the view of nihilism. Nihilists like Friedrich Nietzsche argued that life is meaningless because there is no God, no higher purpose, and no objective values. Everything we do is ultimately pointless because in the end, we all die, and the universe doesn't care. This might sound depressing, but Nietzsche also believed that we can create our own meaning even in a meaningless world. He said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." In other words, if we find our own reasons to live, we can endure almost anything. Nihilism challenges us to face the truth that life has no inherent meaning, but it also gives us the freedom to make our own. Now, let's think about the perspective of humanism. Humanism is a philosophy that focuses on human values and potential. Humanists believe that the meaning of life is to improve ourselves and society through reason, science, and compassion. They don't rely on religion or supernatural beliefs to find purpose. Instead, they believe that we can create a meaningful life by helping others, pursuing knowledge, and making the world a better place. For example, a humanist might find meaning in fighting for social justice, protecting the environment, or advancing human rights. The key idea is that we have the power to make life meaningful through our actions and choices. Finally, let's talk about the perspective of absurdism. This is a philosophy that says life is inherently meaningless, but we can still find joy and purpose in it. The most famous absurdist philosopher is Albert Camus. He believed that the universe is irrational and indifferent, and there's no ultimate meaning to life. But instead of giving up, Camus said we should embrace the absurdity of life and live with passion and rebellion. In his view, the meaning of life is to enjoy the journey, even if it leads nowhere. For example, in his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus tells the story of a man who is condemned to push a boulder up a hill forever, only for it to roll back down each time. Camus says that even in this hopeless situation, Sisyphus can find happiness by accepting his fate and finding meaning in the struggle itself. Absurdism teaches us to laugh at life's absurdity and live with courage and creativity. So, what does all this mean for us? The meaning of life is not something we can find outside of ourselves. It's something we create through our thoughts, actions, and choices. Whether you believe in existentialism, Stoicism, religion, Utilitarianism, Nihilism, Humanism, the key is to live with intention and purpose. Life is short, and we don't know how much time we have. So we should make the most of it by doing what matters to us and what brings joy to others. Maybe the meaning of life is to love deeply, to learn constantly, to help others, or to simply enjoy the present moment. Whatever you choose, remember that you have the power to give your life meaning. Don't wait for someone or something to tell you what to do. Take control of your life, embrace your freedom, and create your own purpose. Because in the end, the meaning of life is what you make it.